that's constantly evolving. It's easy to forget the simple joys and challenges of life before the internet. Today, we'll take a journey back in time, exploring the not-so-distant past when our lives were very different. Welcome to Life Before the Internet. Before we continue, it would be really nice of you to subscribe to the Vintage Treasure channel. Then, head into the comments and let us know what other old treasures you would like to hear about. Alright, let's start the time travel journey. Our story begins in a time when neighborhoods were tightly knit communities. Kids played outside until the streetlights came on, and knowing your neighbors wasn't just a courtesy, it was a way of life. Communication. Communication back then was a world away from the instant messages and video calls we know today. The only smartphones we had were the ones attached to the kitchen wall. Instead of texting, people wrote handwritten letters with pen and paper. Or for the more technologically advanced, used a typewriter. Each keystroke was a labor of love, and typos were a part of life. Music. When it came to music, there were no Spotify playlists or YouTube music videos. Building your music collection meant visiting record stores, thumbing through vinyl records, and carefully placing the needle on your favorite track. TV. TV was a special event, with families gathering around a boxy television set with rabbit ear antennas. You couldn't pause or rewind shows, and if you missed an episode, you had to hope for a rerun. Knowledge. In the quest for knowledge, we had to rely on encyclopedias and libraries. Google and Wikipedia didn't exist. Research was a time-consuming journey through stacks of books, and you had to physically go somewhere to find answers. Shopping. Shopping was an adventure. There was no Amazon, no online shopping. You had to visit brick-and-mortar stores, browse through aisles, and make your selections in person. Can you imagine stepping into a store and being surrounded by people dressed in this exquisite vintage fashion from the 1930s to the 1980s? Even in today's world, we continue our trips to the supermarket for groceries, but be honest, don't these pictures evoke a nostalgic feeling? Traveling. Travel was an entirely different experience. Forget GPS. You had to navigate with paper maps and printed travel guides, stopping at gas stations to ask for directions and recommendations. Entertainment. Entertainment was about face-to-face interactions. Board games, card games, and puzzles were the norm. It was quality time spent with loved ones. Cooking. In the kitchen, creating a new dish meant relying on handwritten recipes and cookbooks. Experimentation and intuition were your guides, and the joy of cooking was shared through recipes passed down through generations. News. Staying informed was a different ball game. There was no 24-hour news cycle. People got their news from newspapers, magazines, and the evening news on TV. Breaking news alerts were unheard of. Photos. Capturing memories was a tangible experience. Film cameras and Polaroids allowed us to freeze moments in time. Each click of the shutter was a commitment, and photos were cherished in albums. At times, the post-holiday revelation would strike. The camera had been empty of film throughout the entire trip. It was a bit of a letdown, but there was no other choice than to accept it. Despite the limitations, life before the internet was filled with personal connections. Neighbors knew each other, and doors were answered when someone knocked. It was a time when face-to-face interactions held immense value. As we reflect on the time that has passed, we realize that while technology has transformed our world, the memories of those simpler times still hold a special place in our hearts. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic journey. If you have your own memories of life before the internet, we'd love to hear them. Please share in the comments below. Until next time, remember to cherish the past even as we embrace the future.